Hello there, thanks for joining. Hope you are well, keeping yourself safe and fully occupied out there at this difficult time. Thank you for joining this, only the second in the series of Behind the Tapes. You'll have noticed only this afternoon a little change to our scheduled programming today. Klaus Vissing will join us on Behind the Tapes next Sunday night at 7 p.m, but at extremely short notice, I've managed to line up another star guest for us tonight, and another chance perhaps for us on Tigers or our Tigers Plus members to sit down and chew the fat a little and enjoy the company of the 2020 Glasgow Tiger, on paper at least as things stand, Mr. Ricky Wells. Good evening to you, Ricky.
Good evening. I'm a better choice than Bissing anyway, but no, I'm just kidding. He can probably beat me on a mountain bike, but I'll beat him on a rock.
You're allowed to say that. I couldn't possibly comment. Yeah, Klaus is otherwise occupied this evening, a little bit unexpectedly, but he's promised that he'll join us on Behind the Tapes next Sunday night. Ricky,
Bissing's probably busy in his hot tub. That's about all he's be doing, but oh well.
you obviously know much better than we do, Ricky. I'm not going to suggest that he's sitting in his hot tub. Ricky, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and how time flies, some of us Tigers Plus members managed to get some time with you and on a Skype chat. And thanks again for spending some time with us that night. I mean, at that point, I think we were 1 week, if that, into lockdown. And my first question to you, I guess, you're locked down in South Yorkshire by choice. How are you finding the whole experience?
Yeah, it's you know, looking back at that last interview I did, it was it's gone quick, but yeah, it is what it is. We've been pretty strict. Me and Josh McDonald, who's living with me at the moment, we've been pretty strict. We've just been going out food shopping, exercising, stuff like that. We've kind of stuck to the rules and stuff, which I think everyone needs to be doing. If everyone was doing it, we'd be out of this a lot quicker. But yeah, it's not really much you can do at the moment. It's hard, it's boring. We all get it. Everyone's in the same boat. But yeah, what do you do? It's just one of those things. It's happening worldwide. It's not just England. You need to realize that at the moment. So yeah, it's tough. But yeah, like I said, what do you do? It's just one of those things where, we've kind of looked at it, me and Josh. It's more time to train and stuff, and we've been focusing on that. It's, you're kind of looking for stuff to do at the moment. So if the season was to start now, I would highly consider that me and Josh McDonald would be up there in the top of the whole fitness game and speedway. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
And Ricky, for those who might be surprised that you are locked down in the UK rather than somewhere more exotic like New Zealand or California, tell us how that came about.
Yeah, I actually flew back the 3rd of March from New Zealand. I flew out of Auckland to Manchester. Just kind of came to it that the Glasgow fitness camp started like the day I landed, but I already had flights booked and stuff. So yeah, I didn't really want to go to America because it's, as a few people know, it's private health over there. I'm not really covered from that because you need medical insurance. So I didn't want to go there. Obviously, the whole coronavirus thing in America is quite worse than anywhere else in the world, it seems. But yeah, I looked into flying to Australia, where my girlfriend is at the moment. Looked at flying back to New Zealand. Really didn't want to do a 28-hour flight again. It got to a point where I couldn't get into Australia because, of course, I'm on a New Zealand passport. I don't have an Australian passport. And yeah, it was kind of easier just to stay in England. I had my house here and stuff. And, just at the end of the day, you're going to be doing the same thing in any part of the world, but some places are a little bit better. But at least it's getting into English summertime now, which has been all right. Sorry, United Kingdom summertime.
Actually, even in Scotland, the weather's not been too bad, Ricky, the last few weeks. It's probably been a a bit of a saving grace because it's allowed people to get out and get a bit of fresh air and a bit of exercise, sit in the gardens if they're lucky enough to have one, and that makes all the difference, of course.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I just feel bad for a person. I've lived in an apartment before. If you live in an apartment or something like that, when you have no garden and stuff, it's that would make it extremely difficult. Even when you're looking for stuff to do, cutting the grass and doing some gardening and stuff, it is, very good for mental health, definitely. Just to get outside and to be able to do some stuff that keeps you busy and stuff like that. So that would be very difficult if you didn't have a back garden. And lucky all my neighbors they're all pretty friendly and stuff, and we have chats over the fence and just to keep you occupied. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You're in a lockdown and stuff, and you're looking for stuff to do, but it's you go a few days and you start going crazy unless you have a dog that's 80 like mine.
Do you know it's funny how your perspectives change because I've never been a huge fan of doing the garden or painting and stuff, but I've done a bit of that over the last number of weeks, and actually, it served a really useful purpose, and I actually found it quite therapeutic to do some of that stuff, Ricky.
It is. I've never really been much of a gardener before. I'll cut the lawn and stuff like that, but it's yeah, you get to a point where my garden right now is it's really nice. Everything's like perfect right now. So cause just obviously just because I've had time and stuff, but yeah, you find stuff to do and you spend a little bit more time on it, and it is very it's good for your mind and stuff like that, and it's relaxing and stuff like that. So, and it helps with the good weather, so you can't really complain.
Ricky, let's try and talk a little bit of Speedway, and it won't have escaped your notice because it hasn't anyone else's in the UK at least. That we at this time of the year, middle of May, we should be 1 month deep into the new season here in the UK, and a whole big new challenge awaited you at Glasgow, Ricky.
Yeah, it's disappointing. That's all you can say about it at the moment. I was really excited to come to Glasgow from the beginning. As soon as I signed a contract, and then once I did the fitness camp and the training and all that, I was even more so because I seen the effort they put in, and then obviously once this new documentary came out, I watched that and messaged Peter straight away and said, like, you guys put so much into this whole club and stuff, and you guys are pretty much dedicating your life to this and stuff like that, as well as many other people, and it's good to see, and it would have been good to be up and having the season now and trying to kind of repay some of that effort and stuff that they put into the club and get going, but unfortunately we're not.
What's your sense, Ricky, of being a Glasgow rider? You've experienced, you had the boot camp, the fitness camp with your teammates. There was at least one event to meet some of the Glasgow fans. And I dare say that you guys are keeping in touch back and forwards on WhatsApp or such like. What's your sense this early on, without even having turned a wheel in anger, at being a Glasgow rider?
It's good. The fan base seems good. I've only had that one fans talking, so I see the passion from Glasgow. I've witnessed it over the years and stuff like that. Mainly when I've been there as an Edinburgh rider against Glasgow. So, but I've got I've always had a lot of respect for the Facenas. Obviously, I've spoken to Peter a lot more than Jerry and stuff like that. But I've even before this, I've seen the work. I knew what Glasgow was a few years ago, and I've seen the work they put into this, and I've seen how professional they are and stuff. And I have a lot of respect for people that put effort into stuff and try their hardest, and anyone that's willing to improve a speedway facility like they have. It's good. If everyone did that, it would make the sport so much better. So when you're in a sport for so long, like I have been, when you've seen someone putting in that effort, it's cool. Even Cami, for Cami to come to the fitness camp, and give it a go. That I wouldn't say it changed my perspective of Cami, because I've always gotten along with him okay, but that just shows that he's in it as well, and it's just an all-around good situation. I mean, everyone wants to win. That's quite apparent. The added pressure, whatever. It's a pressured sport, so if you can't deal with the pressure, you just need to get out of it. But yeah, it's from what I've briefly been through up until now, it's been great. No complaints. Really happy with everything.
Presumably, though, Ricky, you'll have had some conversations with Cammy and with Peter and with Jerry, and they will have told you, I'm quite sure, that they've got some particular expectations of you to make a mockery of the average that you've joined the Tigers with.
Yeah, it's been that long that I actually forget what my average is. But yeah,
It's
it's just one of the
correct me for sub 7, isn't it?
yeah, just I think so. Yeah, it's funny. It's just a tough old sport. Like I've said in previous interviews and stuff, it's when it's going well, and it's so easy. I watched a video of myself the other day actually guesting for Glasgow. And I remember the day because it was a doubleheader. I think it was a semi-final or something against Workington, and that was the end of 2018, I think. And I was quite confident. Had a good season. Was just got a guest book and was literally just filling in the dates and stuff till the end of October, and full of confidence. That's all I can say, was full of confidence. And I watched the video of myself, and I'd like to compare that of watching a video of myself last year and stuff like that. So it's
Well,
yeah,
let's actually go to a video now, Ricky, because I've gone into the archives. I've managed to find a video of you guesting for Glasgow in 2018 at Ashfield against Workington, and it was the all-conquering Workington side, of course, in 2018. And we're going to watch you in action just now. You teaming up with Bomber Harris and having a hard time from Ty Proctor. I was going to ask you though, as a visiting rider, the Ashfield track. There were some track changes in 2019. Can you articulate the difference from a racing point of view?
Yeah, it definitely opened it up a lot more. Compared to the old Glasgow, it was very narrow. It used to bottleneck a lot, similar to Berwick. Obviously, a completely different track, but it used to, the same entry and exits to the corner and stuff like that. But it used to be quite narrow on the entry, used to open up, then go back narrow on the exit, which made it very difficult to pass. And I think that's why, going back to the Joe Screen days, I think he was very good at Glasgow just because his riding style and stuff like that. Use a leg trailer and stuff like that. Used to be able to come in to corners, chasing people's back wheels, leg trail, get around them and stuff like that. So used to suit him. I can't leg trail. I've tried before, but yeah, that video though, that's a deep night at Glasgow. That there's a lot of loose shale on it and stuff like that. So it suited me. I don't mind it when it's like that. I'd much rather prefer that to being slick. So it's but yeah, I think the worst thing about Glasgow I could say about back in 2015 or whenever the changes are made was the pits. I remember the away pits where they used to be exiting turn 2, and the home pits used to be kind of more on the straight and stuff. And one time I had my spare bike there outside the pit bay and stuff like that, and whoever was driving the water truck just turned the water truck on and completely soaked my spare bike and water and stuff, and I was pretty angry.
That's a Glasgow tactic, Ricky. Or it used to be.
I think I was riding for Sheffield then anyway, but
and the Glasgow track, we've talked about your frustration already about not being able to get out on that circuit already this season, but presumably that played a part in you agreeing to spend a season at Glasgow.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's a great track. I mean, everyone, anyone that doesn't like Glasgow, just can't go quick around there. Everyone likes it. It's an open track. It's racing. There's plenty of lines. I think the one positive about this year, well, obviously there's a few positives, but one of the things I'm looking forward to is not having to race Cookie around Glasgow. That's definitely a positive. So it was kind of the same when I went to Edinburgh and didn't have to race Sam around Edinburgh anymore. But I'll have to go back doing that. But yeah, it's definitely a good racetrack.
And we touched on your starting average for Glasgow, and that's to Glasgow's benefit this season, or whatever we get underway. Of course, the flip of that was you were riding for Edinburgh last year, and I guess your average with them was a bit lower than you and they would have wanted. But there was reasons for that, Ricky. You've touched on before some of your injury problems last year. Just give us another insight into how that held you back last year.
Yeah, I had problems with my shoulder and stuff, which was just annoying. Like I said before, it was more of an annoying thing than a problem. But you can touch on that all you want, but at the end of the day, I just didn't have a good year. I didn't start that good. Had issues outside the riding part of things with mechanics and stuff like that. Issues in Poland and you name it, I had it. So yeah, definitely the shoulder thing didn't help at all. That was a few months into the season. It's better now, full of strength. It has been since probably February, March. It's been back to normal. So looking forward to that. And yeah, hopefully we can get underway soon.
Fingers crossed, Ricky. One question for you, which I've definitely never asked you before. I hope you don't mind me asking you this. So at championship level, and I'm talking about the last X number of seasons, you're able to beat the best in the championship on your day, on any given day. Perhaps not quite the same in the Premiership. I don't think you've enjoyed your best form or been able to hold down a team place for, I guess, the duration of a season that you would want at Premiership level. And I just wondered if that's something you can put your finger on. Why that's not been the case for you?
It's annoying. I have had even last year. I think you can consider that as it's a decent season. And I'm pretty hard on myself anyway. It wasn't a great season, but it was decent. But it's I don't know. When I was at Wolverhampton, I felt really comfortable. You had a good home track to kind of go there every Monday, do your job, build confidence, so on and so on. And every other year since pretty much I left Wolverhampton, I've always kind of come in and been mid-season signing. When I went to Rye House, I was sweet there, loved the track, had a good relationship with everyone. They folded, they went under the following year. And yeah, went to Leicester, again, mid-season signing, had an okay year. They dropped down to the Championship after that. Was in pool last year. Started off okay. Was a guest for a few weeks. Started off okay. Had a pretty bad into the season last year with everything, Edinburgh and pool. They dropped down to Championship. And yeah, nothing really came about. Sorry, I forgot I was at Bellevue beginning of last year as well, and that was a great opportunity for me. That was just a tough track for me to kind of get my head around. I'd either be hit and miss, I'd be good there winning races, or I'd just be at the back. But I've got nothing bad to say about Bellevue. I mean, Mark Lemon's a great team manager. That whole club is run just as professional as Glasgow. And yeah, I kind of look at the whole Bellevue thing as a missed opportunity for me. I should have, if I would have kept it going there and done a full season, been able to sign for this year, I would have been very happy. But didn't happen. That track was just a bit of a head case for me. I just couldn't get my head around it. So
and again, yeah, and I guess, Ricky, that chance will come around again. You form and point scoring is what Speedway's all about, and if you do that at Championship level, that tends to open the door at Premiership, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I've had plenty of opportunities before in Premiership, and it's I've never really been able to stick one down. Except I was at Wolves for 3 years, and yeah, if I could go back there, maybe I could do another 3 years. But no, it's just it's one of those things. They aren't gonna, I'm probably considered a risk signing me in the Premiership this year. They're like, okay, we know what he can do, but look what he has done the past year, which you got to accept that at the end of the day. It's, you can't just go around beating the bush and stuff like that. So I did have something lined up this year. Contract was signed, everything for the Premiership, but visa problems stopped that. So not for me, for another rider. There was 2 riders coming into a team, but yeah, it happens. You got to take it as it comes. So there's no point in getting mad or angry about it. And at the end of the day, if you're performing well, you're going to get signed. And I didn't perform well last year.
That's a good attitude, Ricky. Just through observation only, and I'm thinking here back to championship level again. You appear to appear to have become a bit of a northern rider. Working in Edinburgh and now Glasgow. Any particular reason for the northern preference?
I like it up north. I love Scotland. Um, yeah, I've actually spent weekends and stuff in Edinburgh with my girlfriend and stuff like that. So it's quite nice.
Don't
Even
don't,
Berwick.
don't tell anyone.
Berwick.
Don't tell anyone I told you this, but Edinburgh's not a bad city to spend some
It's
time
all
in, Ricky.
right. We actually went up there. I've been to the Christmas market and stuff like that before. Stayed up last year, the year before, can't remember. For the Fringe Festival, did all that. So it's cool. I lived in Workington for 2 years. Say what you want about the place, but it's pretty beautiful places around there. So yeah, I don't know. I hate traveling south, to be honest. That was the worst thing about Poole. I've got not a bad thing to say about Poole either, but the drive down there, I just hated traveling south. It's a lot easier for me traveling north. I mean, I jump straight on the A1, no traffic, stuff like that. Anywhere south of me, there's just always traffic. So
No, that's
much rather
a very honest answer, Ricky. Thanks for taking that
stay
one on.
put.
And you mentioned, you've teed up the next question, Ricky, which I've been saving up a little bit. You mentioned Edinburgh in terms of the city. You've mentioned Glasgow. You mentioned Scotland. You know firsthand, of course, that we make a big play up in this part of the world about the Scottish Derby, and you've experienced it at least on one side of the divide. But I know you've got some views on the Derby, and it's a meeting that you tend to relish taking part in.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's good. It's any type of race meeting that has energy, like extra added energy and stuff in it is good. So I wish there was more of them. Everyone's always heard of the old Cradley Wolves and stuff like that. But I was actually lined up to go to a Rangers Celtic game with Cooper Henderson and a few of his mates and stuff before this whole coronavirus thing. So I've always been a part of, not really support a football team, but I do like going to a few games and stuff like that. But I thought going to a Rangers Celtic game, that's like something you can tick off the bucket list, really. But no, it's just added energy. It's what the sport needs. It needs that type of fire and stuff like that in it, and the fans and stuff. I mean, Glasgow fans hate Edinburgh fans. Edinburgh fans hate Glasgow fans. This is the way it's been, but I think it's good for the sport. I mean, you look at any time Glasgow came to Edinburgh when I was there was more of a crowd. Sorry to say this, but there was more of a crowd than when Berwick came there. There was more of a crowd than when Newcastle came there. It was always more people there, so it's good for everyone. And it creates such a good atmosphere and environment and stuff like that. And it's if it was more like that every other meeting, it would be good.
It's not a bad yardstick, is it, for the sport to have that passion? Ricky, away from Glasgow, we've seen you in recent seasons pull on the Stars and Stripes race jacket, Speedway of Nations, and such like. And you're still a young guy. And lots of development space yet within the sport. You're still ambitious at international level, Ricky.
Yeah, it's you're only as young as you feel, I guess, and I still feel young most of the time. So yeah, it's the whole America thing. It is good. It's going in the right direction. It's good with we got Becker and Nickel over here now. Because Greg's back home and stuff like that. So it's good. I'm kind of the older guy in there. I kind of feel like the Ryan Fisher of the group now because he was always older than me and stuff like that. So
It happens to us all, Ricky.
It does. It does. You don't get any younger. But this year we were supposed to be in Latvia for the qualifier, which was actually last weekend or the weekend before. I'm not sure. I said I want to do that. I would love to do that one. Didn't actually. This whole coronavirus thing, whatever. But Latvia is a far way to go. It's about 30 hours from my house, so wasn't quite sure if I was going to do it, but yeah, I think everyone should ride for their country. It's there's a lot of pride and stuff, and I'm sure if you said to 95% of the English kids and stuff like that, do you want to ride? Sorry, United Kingdom kids, if you want to ride for Great Britain, they would jump at the chance. So I've taken a few years off from doing it, just from some political problems behind the scenes. But I get along with Lance King, Steve Evans, who kind of put it all together. Love to do it. It's I mean, America is missing in the World Cup. I think the whole scene. So hopefully they can keep they have been improving year after year after year. I mean, it's getting better and better. We just hope to keep improving, and hopefully the young kids don't outrun me too quick. But yeah, even if I can be there as kind of a guiding force and stuff like that, and yeah, I just hope we can keep it going.
And you mentioned Luke Becker, you've mentioned Brock Nico, who's now your teammate at Ashfield. And those guys, as you mentioned, Ricky, it takes a big commitment to come across from the States and commit yourself to a season in Europe or even just the UK. And to their credit, both those young guys not only have done that, but they are clearly making some headway.
Yeah, definitely. I think Brock coming over here. I mean, both of them, they're in the same boat. They're leaving. Well, one's leaving Southern California, the other's leaving Northern California. But same thing. It's they're leaving a beautiful place of sunshine and beaches to come over here and do something different. And I know they're all leaving stuff at home. I mean, like Luke's leaving his girlfriend at home and stuff like that. Brock's leaving his family, all that. So it's good to see him do it though, and they're giving it a full effort. It's cool to see. So at least there is more coming, and I wish there was more. But I haven't been back home for over a year now, so I actually don't know who else is kind of up on the ranks and stuff like that coming through. But it's good to see obviously be a few of us over here, and I just wish there was more.
You guys certainly had a bit of colour to the UK speedway scene, so long may that continue, Ricky. Here's a question for you, and I don't know, you might have to think about this one, and you might never have been asked this question before. I wondered what's Ricky Wells' assessment of Ricky Wells' career to date?
That's a good question. I don't know how honest I should be with this. Yeah, I to be blatantly truthful and stuff like that, I think it could be a lot better. I have high ambitions for myself and stuff like that. I know what I can do on a bike. From one reason or another, it hasn't worked, and you live and learn and make some good decisions. You make some bad decisions, and yeah, I remember when I first came over here, I was just a young kid, 17 years old in England and stuff like that. And I just go back to thinking that at that time, maybe I did come over a little bit too early. I had a really tough season at Coventry my first year, and it obviously batters your confidence and stuff like that. So the one thing, yeah, you can set goals all you want, but I just think I put a lot of effort in, like everyone else does. There's a lot of people putting effort in now, as far as fitness and stuff like that compared to what there used to be. And sometimes you just don't get the results that you get. I've gone into many seasons before and just clearly known that there's nothing more else that you can do to have a good season, and you've done all the hard work. And then, like last year, for example, I did everything I could do, probably extra stuff that I could have done to have a good season, and it just didn't happen. And you kind of sit back and you think like, and why am I committing my life to this whole thing, everything in the winter and stuff, then to go and do that? But it's such a mental sport. You can do all the fitness you want. There's a lot of guys now that are looking at the whole fitness thing and kind of getting into it, which is making people better riders and stuff. But yeah, on a whole, I think, I there's more to come. There has to be.
Good.
I don't see why there's not. It's, I look at guys like Cookie and stuff who were dominating the championship, and I can go out and beat Cookie in a race, and sure enough, he'll go beat me 5 times after that. But yeah, there needs to be more to come. Like everyone else probably thinks the same thing, but I put way too much effort into this whole thing just to kind of end it now and stop there.
Is the right answer, Ricky, and a great answer. Thank you for being so refreshingly honest with yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much.
Well, I couldn't use the right words I wanted to use because it's ended with T, but yeah.
We'd be taken off here. I was going to ask you though. You mentioned there. I've said already. You're a relatively young guy. You've been here for. Did you say 13 years or thereabouts? 12, 13 years.
This is my 10th year.
10th year. Okay. In that decade, do you sense that things have become more? I'm going to use the word professional, and all I mean by that is in terms of attention within the sport to fitness and diet and all that good stuff.
Yeah. As a general overview of how things have changed from then, the bikes are harder to ride, definitely. From when I first came over here, mainly because of the silencers and stuff like that. That's kind of a forgotten thing right now because everyone's, nobody realizes what an old King silencer is like to ride, but we still use it in America, and you get on a bike in America and they're so much easier, a lot more forgiving and stuff like that. But as far as the fitness thing, it's gone up a lot, fitness and diet and stuff like that. I mean, I remember my first year at Cup Country in 2009, we'd be out, like, we wouldn't go out, but we'd go to the bar after the meeting, have a few beers, go home, which now you don't see that. And, a lot of fans miss that. But, I can see it from both sides of things, both points of views. I mean, I've got a 4.5 hour drive home after a meeting at Glasgow, and, it's zero tolerance in Scotland, isn't it, for drink driving. So I don't want to go in there and have, a beer and then drive home, get pulled over, be 4 hours from home, still be locked up. I'm not really a Coke or lemonade drinker, to be honest. I'm either coffee, water, or the occasional pint. But yeah, it's just one of those things. But I do understand that the fans love the interaction of Speedway with the riders, and that's what makes it different from a lot of other sports. So, but it has changed a lot. I would definitely think the most thing that's changed is the bikes are harder to ride, and I think that's where the fitness thing comes into play. It's just they've never been easy to ride. You can't say they've ever been easy, but the whole fitness thing, I think the one person, that kind of made it, put it on social media, said he was doing it, was Ty Wolfett, and he said did all this training, whatever, was into it. And a lot of people were still training at that point, which but he kind of made it out and put it into the whole England group, and England have got their own training group now and stuff like that.
Yep.
And they do their thing. And yeah, we just I've always been into it. I've always enjoyed my running, my cycling. Over the years it gets more and more and more, and you're doing more stuff. And yeah, I've always gone into every season and thought, like, yep, I'm the fittest I've always been. Like, I can't get any fitter. Then you get to the next season and you think the same thing, and it always steps it up and steps it up. But I don't stop. I've always done it. I've finished a season over here and raced and then flown home to America the next day, and then got home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and gone for a run, on the day you fly in and stuff like that. So it's just a mental thing. I mean, some people love it. I've seen a lot of people, speeder riders and stuff like that, they're just really focusing on their fitness at the moment as far as running, cycling, and stuff like that, probably to keep their minds busy and stuff like that at the moment. And it's it's to be honest, with the whole fitness thing, it's easier if you don't stop and just keep going, even if it's little stuff, rather than having 2 months off and then starting all over again. So that's what I've always looked at it. But you feel better if you do the whole fitness thing anyway. So I don't know why more people don't do it.
so clearly, Ricky, you're poised. You're ready. You're ready for the call. Should that come at any point in the next few weeks/months, and who knows what's going to happen. But here in the UK, if we get the green light to start or run a shortened speedway season of 2 to 3 months maximum, let's say, Is that viable, Ricky? Would you be keen to do that, or would you rather just hang off till next season and give it a full season?
Um, I would be. I'd be keen, but I think if I was, uh, yeah, I don't think, yeah, back to Brock and Luke Becker, I don't think it's not bad because it's only an 10, 11 hour flight for them. The one person, the people I don't think would be keen, and I wouldn't even be keen in their situation. Well, it's hard to put that in words, but I mean, if you're doing a flight from Australia over here again,
Yeah.
you've already done one return flight this year, which that whole flight thing, it takes it out of you for a few days. That whole flight, so it's tough for them to say, hey, do you want to come over? We're going to do a 3 month season, to a 3 month season. It's not a lot of racing, and it's a lot of effort. I don't think people understand. I mean, anyone who's done that flight, I've only actually ever done it once, which was recently when I flew back from Auckland, and it's tough. It's you lose about a week, but yeah, it gets to the point where at the moment everyone signed contracts, they're keen to race. If they say the season's for 3 months, you just got to take it as it comes and jump the opportunity. So I don't think I've ever been more hungrier to race, I guess. I've had a normal real job since November. So this is the most I've worked since I was 16 years old. So it's you don't miss checking into a time card every day, and definitely so.
Does having a real job, Ricky, make you appreciate Speedway all the more?
I wouldn't say you appreciate it more. Because I don't think people realize how hard speedway can be. I mean, you do normal job week, 40, 50 hours a week. That's it. And when you finish work, I mean, if you're working for a company, you go home, you're not thinking about work. You're just like, yeah, whatever. It's Friday night, having a few beers. Monday comes around, you're like, oh yeah, what am I doing today? So you have the whole weekend off. But with speedway, I think if I did a time card for speedway, I'd be putting in 90. If you're doubling up, doing 2 leagues in England,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be putting 90 to 100 hours in a week, at least. If you're washing bikes, doing all that, doing the driving, all that, it's probably around that a week. And there is obviously good things about speedway, and there's bad things, like with anything. Anyone who goes to work, 80% of the people they don't want to go to work. But when you're not at work, you want to go to work. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship. But with speedway, it's for a lot of us, it is personal. I mean, you're sat there and you're out to dinner with your partner, and you're having a nice dinner, and it's still in the back of your mind. You'd be like, oh, I'm racing in 2 days. I've got to do this. I didn't have a very good meeting last night. And you're always thinking about that. To whereas if you're just working a normal job, I mean, most of the people would just be like, well, whatever, it's their fault. I'm just an employee. You just get on with it and stuff like that. So there's positives and negatives about it. I think having a real job, which I don't mind working, but it does tell you that there is life after speedway isn't that bad. But you have to appreciate what you have at the moment and make the most of it. I think that's the best way to put it.
No, I think that makes perfect sense to me, Ricky, and I'm sure that will resonate with everyone watching. Thanks very much for that. Listen, Ricky, not for the first time in recent weeks, I'm going to thank you very much for giving up some time to talk to us Tigers Plusers, and we're going to share this interview a little bit wider this time, so more people can enjoy it as well. So, Ricky, listen, look after yourself, keep doing the day job, and fingers crossed that phone call from Peter or Cammy might come through in the not too distant future, and we can get to see you out on track at Ashfield. Meantime, Ricky, thanks very much.
No worries. Look forward to it. Thanks.